Temitope Runsewe, a focused professional, project management expert, vision-driven entrepreneur, team player and industry captain, is the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Dutum Company Ltd, a leading construction and engineering firm in Nigeria and one of the most distinguished CEOs to look out for in 2024.
Dutum Company is a second-generation business. It's been in operation and in business for 35 years this year. Business started in 1989 by engineer Dutum Runsewe, who is the founder, and my father, and started off operations as a provider of civil engineering services to government, state governments, later federal government, and then more recently we started doing a lot of business with the private sector. That is the core of our service. We provide civil engineering and building construction services to both public and private sector. Our vision as an organization is to be the leading construction provider in Nigeria and very soon also by extension in Africa. Our mission statement is that we're committed to bringing out the hidden beauty of the African continent through the design and delivery of purpose-built infrastructure that would enhance socioeconomic development. With a mission, it's called a mission for a reason. It means that it's a journey. It's progressive. We're on the way towards it, and the vision and the mission drives everything that we do, which means, you know, as we develop buildings, as we develop bridges, as we develop infrastructure, we're constantly thinking about bringing out the hidden beauty of the African continent. And as we continue to do that, with every brick we lay, we are getting closer to achieving that mission. Dutum offers, I would say, three principal services. Civil engineering, which involves roads, bridges, infrastructure, and all of that. Building construction, any kind of structure, you call us, we can get it done, from hotels to hospitals to schools, office block, residential, all of that. And by extension also, that also extends into facility management, because some of the buildings that we do, we then also manage the buildings. And then the third area is real estate, which is housing provision for Nigeria and for Africa. As an organization, seeing that we offer, like I just mentioned now, three range of services. So we have successful projects in each of these ranges. So I'll start with the first side, which is civil engineering, focused on the infrastructure space. We completed Ogbomosho Oko, Ogbomosho Oko Osogbo Road, a 75-kilometer road spanning between Oyo and Osun states. We've also built a number of bridges in Adamawa, in Osun State. We built about 4 pedestrian bridges for the Federal Capital Territory, funded by the World Bank in Abuja. We also recently completed the jetty for Nigerian port authorities at Marina. That is in the infrastructure space. There are a few others, but just to mention a few. In the building construction space, we completed the Art Hotel, which is just a few minutes from our office here in Oniru. It's a 50-room hotel, 4-star hotel with swimming pool on the last deck. We also completed within Lagos here, Admiralty Mall. We did the Senate building at Covenant University, Dominion Air hangar at the International Airport. We also just completed the refurbishment and renovation of our Jolat hospitals in Agege. So that is building construction space. We already also completed Purple Lekki, which is a mixed-use development on Freedom Way here in Lekki as well. We have projects in Abuja and one of the things we pride ourselves in is that we can work anywhere in Nigeria. So presently, we're working in about 20 states, or we're working in 20 states of Nigeria. In the housing space, we have an affordable housing project at Shimawa, which is in Ogun State. It's a 200. It's eventually going to be 1,000 houses, affordable houses for cooperatives of the RCCG, their staff cooperative. We've done about 200 of those now. We also have Baker's Court in Abuja, which is a 12-unit terrace development. And currently we're in the process of developing 36 flat development in Victoria Island off Adeola Odeku. That is currently ongoing and in the process. Nigeria is unique. Nigeria has what you can classify as hidden gems. And as a result of that, your approach to doing business in a country like Nigeria needs to also be unique. So amongst other things, the general stuff, you need to be dogged. You need to be one who doesn't take failure to heart. You need to be one who is just result-driven and willing to go the extra mile to achieve results. I think that in general, apart from, of course, the basics of knowing your job, understanding what to do, and definitely in a country like Nigeria, you need the help of God. The interesting thing about the sector is that it keeps growing despite the challenges in the economy. And the reason for this is not far-fetched. The reason is because of the heavy rural to urban migration that is going on. And of course, as people keep on moving from semi-rural areas to the urban areas, it means that they need to be housed. And of course, they need to be housed. The real estate sector continues to grow regardless of our challenges. So the real estate sector in Nigeria today is almost just like food. Shelter is a basic, need. And Nigeria being a growing economy means that by default, people would always need shelter. And as long as they do, the sector will continue to grow. And we've not even scratched the surface yet. Presently, when you talk about Nigeria and real estate, people just think about Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt. But Nigeria has 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. We have not even scratched the surface yet. We're just starting. And the reason you would know that the growth is still at the infancy is that very soon, when you go to places like Ikoyi, Lekki, VI, you will be demolishing all the buildings there. It's already going on. In places like Ikoyi, old, big, single compound, single dwellings are going and giving rise to high rises. And that is just the beginning. That is the direction things are going to go. And that is just starting. So it's starting in a place like VI as well. It's moved to Lekki. And as it grows across Lagos, it will spread to the Federal Capital Territory. Abuja is happening already. And then to other states. So the real estate sector in Nigeria has not even started yet. We're still just scratching the surface. A few performance indicators. The basic starts with the number of projects we're doing, and then you go into the amount of revenue that the company is generating. Then you also go into the amount of staff that we're employing. So if you look at all of those indicators from projects, if we let's use a 5-year period, probably grown from doing 5 projects in a year to now doing probably, this year we'll probably do about 20. In terms of revenue, I'm not sure if I'll mention the figures on TV, but at least in the 5 years, we can say 100% growth across all our business sectors. And in terms of staffing, of course, with more projects means that we have to employ more people, either as full-time staff, as subcontractors, as contractors, just contributing our result quota to the growth of the Nigerian economy. So we're doing fairly okay. I was on an interview a couple of months ago, and I told the interviewer that doing business in Nigeria is like an extreme sport. An extreme sport like rugby. You're just getting hit. You wake up on Monday, you get a new knock. On Tuesday is a new one. Wednesday is another one. Every day of the week is literally, full contact extreme sports. And you just have to be determined. There are times you ask yourself, why are we doing this? This is like, self-torture almost, because it seems like all the odds are stacked up against you, but we have to. As an organization, if you look at our mission, it's very, very African-centric, it's very, very Nigerian-centric, which means we believe in our country. We believe that nobody's going to come and fix it for us, so we have to do our bit. And of course, while a few of the indices are looking bad, there are also other indices that are looking good. So on the bad days, you take strength from the good days and you just keep going. There's no other way. It's just that determination to stay in business. And of course, the understanding now that what we do has direct impact on the lives of hundreds of people, and then indirect on probably thousands. So we cannot afford to give up. We just have to wake up every day. And in some of my prayers, I remind God that this is not just about me. There are many people that, us succeeding is tied to. And one way or the other, anytime I pray that prayer, God just always shows up in interesting ways. So, you stay faith, you stay hopeful, keep the faith, and keep going. When you look at the history of countries and the sector, construction and real estate, building collapse is not unique to Nigeria, and is a sign of where we are as a country. So just to give you a little synopsis of how a building gets built in a place like Lagos or Abuja. Someone wants to build something, you go to an architect, they do a design for you. The architect will engage structural engineers and other disciplines, they develop the drawings. When that is done, you take it to the approving authorities in Lagos, in any state you are, in FCT, and they vet the drawings and it gets approved. And as you begin your construction, they come stage by stage to go through what you're doing and ensure that you're doing the right thing. That is what the process is supposed to be. If that process is maintained as is designed, there will be a huge reduction in building collapse. Now, to your question directly, the issues are many, starting with inferior products, which can be checked by doing quality control checks, which is the reason why if you're doing, any project anyway, you need to get professionals in. You need to get professionals, individuals, and get professional companies who have been doing this for a few years, who have the understanding of what it takes to get it done. Because if you got a professional person, organization, then you are not likely to complain about inferior products because they would have done tests. You do tests on, you're building anything, you do tests on your concrete, you do tests on your reinforcement, you do tests even on water, you do tests on every component, because every component can have an effect on the outcome. So yes, inferior products are in the market, but if you've engaged professionals, they know how to avoid those inferior products. Then comes to the next thing, which is that many people who want to build stuff are always just thinking about cost. How do I reduce the cost? Yes, cost reduction is good, but it comes to a point that is going to affect the structure. I tell people all the time, when you're planning a project, do anything you want with your finishing, but make sure the structure is done professionally. Because the finishing, you can change it. You can change your tile. You can change the color of the wall. You can remove your doors and change it. You can change your sanitary wares. But the building must be standing. So, and the issue of building collapse is a function of structural failure. which means you either cut corners on the product, cut corners on the professionals. There's also the elements that maybe there are issues with design. There are many things. It could be product, it could be the quality of the materials that were used, it could be using the wrong professionals, it could be faulty design, a myriad of things. But I think there's also negligence, which has to do with professionalism. But I think it will be reduced a great deal if everybody has their part to play. Government has its part to play. The individuals who want to construct have a part to play. And we, the professionals, have our part to play. Government must regulate, make sure everything is checked and approved and the right checks are done as it goes on. The individuals building must be focused not just on lowest price, but on engaging the right professionals. And then we, on the professional side, must ensure that we fulfill our duties as professionals, avoiding negligence, avoiding cutting corners, and all of those things. If everybody plays their part, there will be a reduction in the issues of building collapse. The removal of fuel subsidy automatically increases the prices of everything, because fuel is fundamental in everything we do. So once the price of petrol is increased, transport will increase, cost of living will increase, cost of food will increase, cost of production of materials will increase, and of course all of this is automatically translated to the cost of construction, which is automatically translated to the cost that we're going to be selling the houses that we build. So in the short term, the removal of fuel subsidy alone will have a negative impact on the real estate sector on the short term. However, in the medium to long term, as the economy begins to recalibrate and some of the other measures being put in place by government start taking their full effect, then of course there will be more resources in the economy. And so even though prices have gone up, people can afford it, right? So we can't take one thing in isolation. Yes, the prices will go up, but then we need to look at the earning capacity of people and the amount of money that is available. At the moment, it's going to be a bit, because it's going to be a shock, maybe something that you priced before was 80 million naira, and then you go back, they say it's 160 million, and you're wondering, what are we going to do? It is not the developer's fault. It is the fact that for direct comparison, the cement that we bought 3,000 this time last year, we're now buying it 8,000. That is more than double. The reinforcement that we bought 400,000 this time last year, we're now buying for over 1 million. So there's nothing anybody can do. It is what they call garbage in, garbage out. What we're buying, has to be translated somewhere. So of course there will be a shock initially, but I believe if the measures being put in place are fully implemented and we'll start to see the effects in the economy, people will be able to earn more, and very soon, how we used to feel about 10 million, maybe that's how we'll feel about the 100 million.